Hi everyone, I'm Nadia, and in today's video, my mom and I are making ring holders with dried flowers. All of these flowers are flowers that my mom has dried, and she's tried several techniques: pressing in books, in the microwave, or in silica gel. Although we're mainly using flowers that haven't been pressed so that they're not completely flat. So the first thing that we're doing is going through all of our flowers and picking the ones that we want to use in our ring holders. And we're going to be taking the flowers that we chose and making them into tiny little bouquets. We chose a lot of flowers with stems so that we could tape the stems together and hang them into the ring holder molds. And we have a few flowers that don't have stems, which we'll be adding in later. This is a small pyramid that my mom made, and this is a similar effect to what I'll be going for. So my last layer will be just clear resin so that the flowers reflect off of the bottom, whereas my mom will be adding some crystals into her last layer. Once we're happy with our flower arrangement, we start to mix our part A and part B resin together for 3 to 5 minutes. And we start to get our ring holder molds ready to use. I use some tape to remove any fibers that may be in the molds, and my mom starts to pour a tiny bit of resin into her mold. I pour a small amount into my mold as well, and we use a wooden stick to make sure that the resin has reached the very tip of the mold and to make sure that there's no air bubble in that spot. And I'm very quickly using a torch gun to pop any air bubbles. Now we're placing our mini bouquets into the ring holder mold, and I'm making minor adjustments using a wooden stick, and then we pour some more resin into the mold. We're using mixing sticks to keep the small bouquets centered and in place. And my mom uses the leftover resin to finish off a ring holder that she made previously. We come back the next day, and the first thing that I'm doing is removing the stems out of my mold. And again, we mix our part A and part B resin together for a second layer. My mom is going to be leaving in her stems for now, but she makes some minor adjustments and pushes the tape more up so that it doesn't get in the way of the resin. Then we take turns pouring a little bit of resin into our molds. And instead of using a torch gun this time, I'm using a wooden stick to remove some air bubbles. We continue to add a little bit more resin, and with the wooden stick, pop some air bubbles. And now I'm going to be adding in the flowers that didn't have stems. And my mom adds in some small leaves into her mold. After another day has passed, we come back to do our third and final layer. I mixed up the resin while my mom cuts off the stems from her mold and the little bit of stems that remained in my mold as well. There was a good sized air bubble in the crevice of my mold, so my mom is very carefully using an X-Acto knife to open up that area to get rid of that air bubble. If you try this, be very careful not to cut into your silicone mold with the X-Acto knife because that will ruin your mold. After she opens up that area where the air bubble is, after I pour in my third layer of resin, it won't be noticeable anymore. And I noticed a few more air bubbles that were too deep to open up and get rid of, so we left them as is. My mom starts off by pouring a small amount of resin into her mold, and I follow and pour a small amount into mine as well. She makes sure that the resin has reached the edges by going around with the wooden stick, and we both pop air bubbles using wooden sticks as well. Now my mom is going to be adding rose quartz crystals into her mold. And to make sure that all of the crystals are completely covered, she pours some more resin on top. And here's a clip of me demolding the ring holders. I definitely struggled a little bit with demolding this one, so I sped it up not to bore you guys. And here's the final product. This small lamp gives a really cool effect to this clear ring holder, and I'll leave an affiliate link in my description if you're interested in purchasing it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Follow me on my Instagram, Summer Girl Designs, and my mom's Instagram, Wild Heart Resin Art.